What if I told you that motion might be an illusion? That when you walk across the room, when a train speeds down the tracks, when a rocket escapes Earth's gravity, none of it truly moves? This isn't science fiction. This is a 2,500-year-old intellectual bomb dropped by a Greek philosopher named Zeno of Elea. And once you understand his arguments, you'll see why philosophy didn't start with answers. It started with weapons. In the history of philosophy, there are two famous Zenos. One is Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism. But our focus today is the earlier and far more dangerous thinker, Zeno of Elea, the student and defender of Parmenides. Parmenides made a radical claim: reality is one. Change is illusion. Motion is impossible. Most people laughed. Zeno did not laugh. He built a logical fortress around his teacher's idea, and that fortress still stands. According to Aristotle, Zeno was the founder of dialectic, a method of argument that doesn't try to prove your idea directly. Instead, it assumes your opponent is right, and then shows that their position collapses into contradiction. This is called reductio ad absurdum, reduction to absurdity. You don't attack. You let your opponent self-destruct. That was Zeno's genius. Let's start with his most famous attack, motion. Imagine the great warrior Achilles racing a slow tortoise. Achilles gives the tortoise a small head start. Common sense says Achilles will easily overtake it. Zeno says, no, he won't. Why? Because first Achilles must reach the tortoise's starting point. But by then, the tortoise has moved forward. Then Achilles must reach that new point. But again, the tortoise has moved slightly ahead. This continues infinitely. There are infinitely many points to cross. How can you complete an infinite number of steps? You can get closer and closer, but never actually arrive. This is the Achilles paradox. Mathematically, we resolve this with infinite series. But Zeno's point wasn't about calculation. It was about logic. If motion requires completing infinitely many tasks, how can it ever begin? Then comes the arrow paradox. Imagine an arrow flying through the air. At any single instant, the arrow occupies one specific position in space. In that instant, it is not moving. It is simply there. If every moment is a frozen snapshot, how do frozen moments combine to create motion? If time is made of indivisible instants, motion disappears. If time is infinitely divisible, motion also disappears. Either way, motion becomes logically unstable. Zeno didn't stop there. He attacked plurality itself, the idea that there are many things. If reality consists of many parts, those parts must have size. But if they have size, they are divisible. And if divisible, they contain infinite parts. And if infinite parts each have size, the object becomes infinitely large. But if the parts have no size, then no matter how many you add together, you never get something with size. So, plurality leads to absurdity. Conclusion? Reality must be one. Even Plato admits in his dialogue Parmenides that Zeno's purpose was to defend his teacher. When critics mocked Parmenides for denying motion and change, Zeno replied, "You think unity is absurd? Let me show you that multiplicity is even more absurd." That's intellectual judo. Now here's the part most people miss. Zeno knew we see motion. He wasn't blind. He wasn't stupid. His point was deeper. Observation and logical consistency are not the same thing. And when they collide, philosophy is born. Later thinkers, atomists, mathematicians, physicists, were forced to respond. Concepts like infinity, continuity, space, and time had to be sharpened because Zeno exposed their hidden cracks. You may think his arguments are outdated, but every time modern physics debates the nature of space-time, discreteness, or infinity, Zeno is still there, waiting. If you enjoy exploring ideas that destabilize reality, ideas more dangerous than artificial intelligence, more disruptive than technology, then you're in the right place. This is SciPhiHi, where philosophy meets science, and both are pushed to their limits. Subscribe, and let's keep questioning what everyone else takes for granted.